Classic League Podcast time! Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 282 of the Classic Elite Podcast. My name is Scott, and I've got Dustin with me. Dustin, what is going on, man?
I got some possessed books that are motion activated.
Oh, weird. Okay, so demonstrate, please.
Okay.
Oh, that's an intricate shelf display. Bravo, man.
And it does that for like a minute, so I'm going to put it down.
Okay, it's like that bass fish thing that was like, okay, you're like going on way too long.
Yeah.
So for anybody not watching or just listening on YouTube or Podcast Addict, thank you to all you Podcast Addict listeners out there. Dustin's been demonstrating his inexpensive Halloween decoration purchases. That he's buying so many is an expensive endeavor in and of itself. But this is one of the neatest things I've ever seen. So I'm going to try to describe it. It was like 4 or 5 books.
Mm-hmm.
And okay, you said it was motion activated. You hit a button, but if you walk by, will it start doing this thing?
Yeah. Yeah, it has 2 settings, on, and that's when you hit the button, or motion. So if you walk in front of it, it'll start like moving and making noise.
Awesome. And so the books would pop out, and then it looks like a ghost is pulling down on one of them to unlock a bookshelf.
Mm-hmm.
In like 3 years, I know that you're going to have some time off, and you're going to do it with a video game behind you, and one of those shelves will actually reveal something amazing behind it. When I was a kid, I had a spy kit, and one of the things that it had was a motion detector that would set off an alarm, and you could have it so it was wide open, so if you walked by it, it would activate, or if you put something close to it, it would activate if you pulled it away from it.
Cool.
Which I thought was great. And also, the most disappointing part of the spy kit, though, had to be the long-range listening microphone. Did not work like it does in the movies and TV, no. Oh my god, it blew. I was so excited. Don't you love it when you're a kid and you think you have something that you assumed was only magical before?
Yeah.
Yeah, but it was still really fun to set that little siren up all over the house. I would set it up in front of my brother's Legos, or if my mom, I'd put it in front of my door, so if my mom would walk in, it would like trigger it. It was really fun.
Oh, damn it. I hit the button again.
You leaned down and grabbed it. You know that it's going to work by a button, or don't act like you didn't do that on purpose.
I totally didn't. I was going to hold it up and say, like, hey, I bet Genesis games would fit in this. Like, take the books off and put Genesis games on it.
Oh, that would be good. But it's motion activated, so you knew that was motion to bring it up to the camera.
Well, it should be on, which was only the button.
Oh, I thought it was I thought it was either or, button or motion. You can toggle it to have it not be both on at the same time.
Correct.
That's pretty impressive for a $10 trinket from Odd Lots.
Yeah.
I got it called Odd Lots from now on because we made such a deal about it. So yeah, man, we are a month and change away from dude, that's like the most military walkie-talkie ringtone you have on your phone. We're like 6 weeks away from Halloween, so
it's my Halloween alarm clock.
Oh, so okay, I gotta ask, what's your alarm set at 8:40 on a Wednesday?
That's actually my 5-minute warning. I tell Solly it's almost bedtime.
Oh, okay, all right. There you go.
So I don't just spring bedtime on him, because then he's like, oh no, my life is ending. I have to stop watching this YouTube video.
That's how I feel as a 35-year-old grown man. So,
what time do you go to bed? I'll set an alarm for 5 minutes ahead.
Oh, and you'll text me? That would be wonderful.
Yeah, I'll text you.
No,
Scott, 5 minutes, you're going to bed, buddy.
I still cry. I try to do it early. It's usually not. So, yeah, we're a video game podcast, so eventually we're going to talk about video games. And but before we do that, Dustin, how has the week been outside of you finding other gems at the supermarket?
Pretty good. Things are calming down.
Nice.
I feel like I'm getting things handled. I've been waking up at 5:30 every single day for like greater than 2 weeks.
Okay? Are you happy with this, or are you? I mean, you said things are getting better.
It's only difficult if for some reason, Simon does something and I can't go to sleep when I need to. Other than that, I'm pretty good with it.
Awesome. I wish I was an early bird. Stinks.
That's what I'm trying to do. Because I am a night owl.
That's my problem too. I just one more video lately it's been one more run of Dead Cells. God, that game is awesome. And I've gotten to the point where runs can last 30 minutes. They can last 5 as well, but you never know, right? So, I don't know if I mentioned it on air last week. I tried one of those bike riding things where you have like I don't even know how to describe it. I'm terrible at describing it, but it's like 10 people that are all pedaling a cart down the street.
Mm-hmm.
Surprisingly fun. I thought it looked exhausting, but our driver, she was great. She was really fun, and it was a perfect night to do it. There was a big pride parade happening in Toledo, so there was just a ton of people around, like all decked out in all these crazy colors, and I don't know, it just was fun to like go through the thick of all of it. Like all the bars everyone was having a great time. It wasn't like a dead area. And the weather was perfect. So it was really like the perfect time to do something like that. It was a lot of fun. So, I would highly recommend, it was someone's birthday. So I would recommend doing that sometime, going on one of those bar crawls, but you pedal yourselves there with one of those carts. They would let you bring beers on from the bar if you wanted, or cool. we had coolers stocked, which was really cool. Like our you're not supposed to, but our driver would. She's like, even if you bring a liquor drink on, I don't care. Just don't bring shots. I'm like, all right. I didn't because I was trying to stay away from liquor. I had to get up really early the next morning, so.
Cool.
But it was way more fun than I thought. I expected it to be one of those things that looked neat, but actually sucked when you did it. It looked neat, and it is neat. So, but I don't know what you call that. Do you know what to call that?
I don't. It's literally like a bar that you pedal around.
Yeah, we need the Germans to come in and help us out and give us a word, because that's what they do. When English takes too many words, the Germans already have one for it. So, all right,
Barwagen.
All right, that sounds good enough for me. It sounds German. We'll just throw 2 dots over one of the letters, and we're good. So, all right, Dustin, let's talk about some video game news. I guess first up, you want to take this story out, and then we'll discuss it from there.
I'll say, okay, so good news, bad news. Bad news is Bloodstained is being pushed to 2019. And the worst news is the Vita port was canceled, but nobody plays Vita games anyway. So it probably doesn't affect too many people. But the good news is it was pushed back to 2019. And game delays are usually a good thing.
I agree. My favorite... Sully, get to bed. My favorite meme that I saw about this, though... Did you ever watch Arrested Development?
Mm-hmm.
There was the David Cross character... Funke, the Fias, what's his name? Tobias.
I think it's right.
Tobias.
That's
I was throwing an H in there. I didn't need to be. So when Tobias is part of the Never Nude thing, and he's out there like on top of a car screaming, "There's dozens of us, dozens!" There were dozens of Vita people pissed off that it was canceled. So Bloodstain, now this is going to push it 2 years past when it was supposed to be delivered. But apparently they got a lot of feedback that wasn't the most positive related to that demo they just released.
Mhm.
So they're putting it back in the oven, and the Vita port's just being canceled. They claimed somewhere, it might have even been in the Kickstarter project, or it might have been in an interview. I heard Giant Bomb talking about it, that they were blaming the fact that Sony's going to be dropping some support for the store, for the Vita store,
Okay.
as a reason to not really pursue it. If that's the case, let's say you did Kickstart it and all you wanted was the Vita backing, you still get that 8-bit remake or 8-bit prequel or whatever for free. And you can get either a refund or switch to a different version of your choice.
Totally logical.
Can't really complain with that, like, even if you're a little disappointed. So, Bloodstain pushed back to 2019. I'm with you, man. I told you I thought that it looked a little... There's something I didn't like about the look of it. And it was like a little floaty. I don't know. So we'll see when they come out with some newer iterations. Hey, Ken, it's good to see you, man. We got GameCuber as well. Good to see you again. He says, hey, stop by to drop a like. Working hard at something new. Keep with the Phone podcast. So we will try. And good luck on the new venture or the new project. I guess there's not much to discuss. We're both in agreement. If a game says they need more time,
give them time.
Because especially a Kickstarter one, I will give a little bit more. We don't want a Mighty Number 9. I think everyone would still be waiting on Mighty Number 9 now if they were going to get Mega Man 11, or, it's coming out. They were going to get a really good Mega Man game. And then, Dustin, another story from us. We were tagged by our good buddy Kevin, our Canadian correspondent, over on Facebook. He tagged us in a message. So, why don't you tell us about the Humble Bundle, man?
So this is a super spooky Humble Bundle. We'll just go all the way to if you pay $15 or more, you can get PC copies of Dead by Daylight, Friday the 13th the game, Yomawari, BioShock Remastered, Detention, How to Survive 2, How to Survive 1, Layers of Fear, and White Noise 2. And it's going to be up for the next 12 days and 17 hours as you hear this podcast.
So by the time it's published, if you're not watching live, by the time this is published, which is usually on Mondays, you'll still have another
9 days?
Something like that?
No.
No. 7
8 days?
8, yeah. Plenty of time.
Like the Ring video, 7 days.
I watched The Ring in the theater, actually, and I liked that movie. It's a good movie. It was spooky. I enjoyed it. You know what
Naomi Watts looked great in that movie.
Yeah, she was great. She looked great. She was legitimately scary. Have you ever seen the little thing where someone at like a Best Buy, they were doing The Ring as a demo, and there was a girl actually in the shell of a TV, and she started coming out of it?
Yeah,
I would lose it, man. I would totally. There's one guy in there that just like hops and skips like a monster's gonna eat him, and I'd be scared I'd be like that. One thing I want to mention about this Humble Bundle, so this interface, because like you had mentioned, these are all PC games, right?
Yep.
I love the fact that it's integrated with the Steam rating underneath each of the games. So it says, at least on my browser, it says White Noise 2, and next to the Steam icon, it says very positive. That's the review, like aggregator in Steam. So it's showing very positive reviews on these games.
Cool.
From a community standpoint. It says BioShock Remastered mixed, probably because there's some port stuff that people are complaining about. Friday the 13th, the game, had mixed reviews, especially early on. It was unbalanced, and there were issues with that. But I just love that Dead by Daylight is mostly positive. That's brilliant interface work there. It's a bummer if you got a negative game that you're trying to sell.
There's some reviews on here that are great.
And
Dead by Daylight has a review. It says, this game is basically NASCAR. You go around in circles until you have to fix stuff and hope an angry hillbilly doesn't kill you. Then under Friday the 13th, the game. Someone should make this game into a movie.
That's
great.
good. That's some top shelf snark right there. This is great. Detention is overwhelmingly positive. Yeah, these again, the fact that they curated these little things from, like, because you're not in the Steam interface, it's just they have this curated underneath the game. It's like BioShock is like, now you can get jump scared in HD. It's really funny. I like Humble Bundle, so this is a cool thing to see. I haven't
come a long way.
They have come along with. They're a proper storefront now.
Yeah.
I think the last thing I bought though was editing software. There was like that music bundle. I think you bought it too.
Yeah.
But it was like Vegas Pro 14 for $20 plus a bunch of music software.
Mm-hmm.
Like, all right, sounds good.
You got me.
Because Vegas Pro was $75 on sale, so it's like, okay. I have used it once, but it's good to know. I got it. The peace of mind of insurance, or it's like software insurance. Just knowing that I got licenses for various forms of Vegas. If I'm in a crunch, I know I can get one of these things working. So yeah, go over to the Humble Bundle and check out the Spooky Horror Bundle. And then next up, Dustin, I'm really curious to get your thoughts on this. So I was over at Nintendo Life, and I also saw Bob at Retro RGB on YouTube talk about this. And there's this little attachment that's getting released next month. It's called the Classic 2 Magic. And it's kind of like a USB interface for your SNES Mini Classic.
Yeah.
Classic Mini. And it allows you to just put carts into this dock, and they will play then on the Super Nintendo Classic Mini. So it's $60, which I don't remember if I said or not. $60, and it gives you a proper interface to play carts instead of having to do any hacking or anything like that. It's just a plug and play.
Mm-hmm.
Also, it gives the functionality to dump ROMs onto the USB stick, I believe. And I think that you also may be able to access ROMs from the USB stick as well. So, is a $60 dock for that worth it to you?
No, I mean, I won't go about buying it, but I think this thing is cool as hell. It reminds me of like mid-90s Mad Cats, like Game Shark,
Galoobs.
Gleamcast. Yeah.
I'm
It's
right
awesome.
there. I'm right there with you on that. And Bob at Retro RGV made a great point where he was talking about it in terms of, look, if you get an SNES Classic and you want to play games on it, then you buy this for $60, you're at a point where it's like, dude, you're a couple bucks away from getting the Super Nintendo NT. That, like, awesome. So there's a price issue there, which I think that's totally a valid criticism and a fair thing to point out. However, let's say that you got an SNES Mini as a gift because people know that you like old video games. So you're already $80 ahead of the game. And you do have a collection of Famicom or Super Nintendo games. All of a sudden, $60 more, and you don't have to hack anything. It just, like, plug and play. That's enticing. And then, shoot, if you're someone that just wants to back up your own collection, let's say you're hardcore anti-piracy, but you have an awesome collection of games that you'd like to back up. This feels like the way that I rip Blu-rays when I buy them.
Yeah.
Technically, that's illegal because I'm breaking copyright or whatever. Copyright encryption to break it, and then using Handbrake to, smush it down to a manageable size, and using Plex to view it. That way I don't have to grab my DVDs every time. The tinkerer in me really likes this idea as well. And I think $60... $60 is totally a reasonable, like, I'll see what I can do with that kind of a price.
Yeah. It's also region free, so you can
great point.
play a bunch of other stuff. And if you buy it now, it'll probably be worth like $500 on eBay in 10 years.
Oh God, that's a good point. Even in 3 years, because if not enough people buy this, and then all of a sudden, archivists are out there. I guess I'm really happy to see the product existing because of all of the issues that people are seeing with. Dumez has a email that we'll get to later, and talking with EMU Paradise last week. These sites that are shutting down because they're scared of being sued. It's a good way to at least preserve yourself, if you don't.
Mm-hmm.
Or let's say you're tight for money and you know that you have $1,200 in Super Nintendo games that you could get rid of on eBay. And if you have to part with your collection, at least maybe you could rip them all.
Yeah.
I'm with you, man. I'm so glad this product exists.
Yeah. I want to see LGR put like a Sega Genesis emulator on a SNES card, put it on his Super Nintendo Mini, and then play Sega Genesis games on his Super Nintendo Mini.
Yeah, just go like hard. Like obviously, you want to rip your Game Boy games with this at bare minimum from LGR perspective.
Yeah.
Get the Super Game Boy in there and just goofy stuff like that. And again, you mentioned it was region free, but that also means that for any younger people that don't know, the Super Nintendo DRM or region lock, not DRM. Excuse me. The region locking was just plastic tabs. So Famicom carts wouldn't fit in your Super Nintendo, but the pinout and everything was identical. This doesn't have that, so if there's a super expensive game, like, I don't know, like Mega Man X3 is like $200, $300. Well, the Japanese version is like $20 on eBay because they sold bajillions of those. This is an opportunity to play, natively with the cart, or at least get it if you are having trouble pirating or you don't want to do that at all. Either way. This is kind of a cool interface for you to have. We'll see. It comes out in September. Maybe this thing's incredibly unreliable, and it's so this thing could be my spy microphone thing that I was talking about at the beginning of the show. But fingers crossed that it's a really cool interface and it works really well. So, all right, sticking with retro stuff, did you happen to check out the new Genesis game?
Yeah, this game looks awesome.
Yes, it does.
So, a game that was going to be released back in 1994 called Hardcore is being released in 2019 for, right now it looks like just the Vita and PS4.
Yeah.
But the YouTube video, who's the guy who's in the YouTube video? His name escapes me.
Let me bring it back up, the one that I...
Is it Retro RGB? I forget.
This is Bob from Retro RGB. Yes, yeah.
Okay, Bob. He was talking that, like he was talking. I can't remember if he said he would like to see a Genesis copy and the Sega CD copy, or if they were thinking about making those.
I think I don't remember either. I just know he talked about it. Oh, Zarek mentions, here's silliness. You can now use the game Genie on the SNES Mini.
Yeah.
There we go. It's also DICE, the Battlefield guys, like the big AAA developer. This is a DICE game that got canceled. The publisher, I can't remember their name. The publisher canceled it at the very end.
That's cool. But yeah, the game itself looks like Turrican or Super Turrican.
Yeah, I've heard it described as that, and I've never played Turrican or Super Turrican. I know you've talked about it on the show before. So think about like a slower Contra, or Contra has a baby with Metal Slug.
Yeah.
This is cool, man. I love the fact that this is... Now, I guess it was also planning to be a Sega CD game.
Mm-hmm. So I love it. They released a Sega CD copy of this.
Maybe.
So great.
Maybe. We get limited run games in there, or get... I am 8-bit.
I actually want a copy.
Oh, okay. Sorry. So, okay, not them. I am 8-bit, maybe, or I got that Pure Solar came with Sega CD, so it's possible to still be done. But that just means that the music is going to just be as 90s as possible. It's just
Yeah.
So keep your eyes out. I just love that it's called hardcore. I mean, you want to talk about the mid 90s, 94, like right as they were kind of getting out of it. So yeah, again, it's DICE. That's really cool. Battlefield. Hopefully, watch this. Like I heard some analysts talking that Battlefield 5 pre-orders are like in the toilet, real low. Oh, watch hardcore. Like make up for the fiscal year for them.
That'll be great.
But speaking of like 90s craziness, Windjammers 2 is coming out next year. The port of Windjammers 1 came out last year sometime. It's also a 1994, maybe 95, Neo Geo game. That's really fun. It's like beach volleyball meets the Discs of Tron. If you're not familiar with it,
it's like the coolest game of air hockey that you could play.
Oh, that's way better than I'd try to describe it. Absolutely. There's power-ups and there's different characters that have, powerful attacks that are easy to block or quick attacks that are low points or whatever. I'm familiar with it because Giant Bomb made a big deal about it.
This probably exists because of Giant Bomb.
Probably. But rightfully so. I mean, the game is amazing. It is legitimately excellent.
Yeah.
So, it looked like Windjammers was never going to get ported anywhere or never get a revival, and they got it out on PlayStation last year. And it's now coming to the Switch, so hopefully at some point this year. That was the rumor, but no definitive date yet. But it did so well that they're going to get a sequel out. The art is a little different. It's Neo Geo pixel art, so it's amazing on the first one. Windjammers 2 is going to take more of a hand-drawn animation look to it. But, man, I love it. Like, competitive, co-op, local competitive games are the best. These will have online functionality as well, but, I mean, this is the kind of thing you play with your brother or your buddy, and you spend all night at a sleepover or whatever. Before you know it, you've played like 300 matches. Apparently, it's stayed popular in France since it came out, which is cool. But the reason I bring up the 90s stuff as well is because there's a commercial for the Switch port in the PC Gamer article that we have linked, and the Switch port commercial is great. They have the most bodacious outfits on, is all I'll say. It's great. And they even take like the Switch cinematography from like the launch video, the kind of low angle, like well lit, hipster, super clean apartment, and then all of a sudden, like they get transformed into wearing Saved by the Bell outfits and 90s filters, and it's like it's shot cinematically. Like 90s stuff would have been. So there's just great little touches in the Switch announcement trailer that I really appreciated. So, and then lastly, Dumez sent us a video of objectively the worst Mario level. And I just want people to watch this video. It's a person named Ceav Gaming, Ceave Gaming, or Ceave Gaming. I'm not sure how to pronounce it. He has a Middle Eastern accent, and he keeps. So his goal was to make the objectively worst Mario level possible, and it's supposed to have you spend the most amount of the time in the level while not having fun. So it's not even like a troll level or anything like that. He wants to make it as tedious and boring as possible. And my favorite thing is he keeps saying while not having fun, and this like really academic way of and towards the end, if you like rudimentary statistical analysis, he does some really great things with the amount of time, actual real world time that it would take to complete his level because of all the tries that you would take. Like, he's able to get one try of a level to take like 6 hours or something, even though the game clock is only, X amount of time, like 5 minutes or whatever, because of all the transitions and the random luck that you would need to have stuff happen. And I don't want to spoil the numbers, but they are staggering what he was able to come up with. And again, the whole point is not having fun. Like, it's tedious, it's dumb, it's not fun in any way. So Dumbass, thank you for sending that over. I really enjoyed that video. And again, that's CF Gaming. All right, man. Well, that's it for the news this week. So some good stuff, or some bad stuff, but mostly good stuff to talk about. So let's talk about the YouTube channel of the week.
YouTube channel of the week. Week. Okay, so do we want horror movies or horror games?
Let's do games, because you did a movie guy last week with Fight Club.
Yes. Okay.
So let's do games.
So this week's YouTube channel of the week is Gaming Bolt. And they do a series that it's not actually specific to horror. I just happened to see it today and it was horror related. But it's the What the Hell Happened to Blank. And this one that I featured is What the Hell Happened to Condemned.
Okay.
But they've done it for Fatal Frame. They did it for Dead Space.
I thought you said they're not all horror games. Those are just the only ones you watch.
Yeah. I'm sure they did it for
Kid Nicky, Little Samson. Yeah, okay. Lee Trevino's Fighting Golf.
Oh, yeah. What the hell happened to Lee Trevino's Fighting Golf?
I don't know. And people dog on it just because there is no fighting in it. It is an incredibly good golf game. It still holds up well today. It really is excellent. There's wonderful music. I mean, it's SNK. Come on.
Yeah.
It's not like some schlub out there. I mean, the music is incredible. It's licensed. There are four characters to choose from. You can have at least 2 players. You might even be able to get to 4-player, but you don't need like the turbo tap or whatever and 4-score. Is that what it's called?
Yes, 4-score.
You don't need the Abraham Lincoln to play this game because it's like a one controller at a time. But it might only be 2 people. There's like stroke play, which means count all the strokes. There's match play. They have really I'm sorry to get off on this tangent, but I hate that people dog on this game. Also, unlike the original NES, just called Golf, there is a give up function. So if you're just trash, the computer's like, "No, you're done." You give up. You can play in Japan or the US. They have instances where there are hole-in-one screens where if you get one, you feel amazing because it's got a great hidden song. They have a separate song for pars, birdies, bogeys. There's long drive contests sometimes. That's a deep game for the NES. Not just...
Is that a complete copy over your right shoulder?
Yes, it is. $6. I got it when I went to go visit Tony.
That's awesome.
I already had a copy, but I'm like, it's $6 and it's complete. It even, I know, right? It even had the foam insert.
Dude.
Yeah. That in and of itself is going to bump up the price of another. Yeah, but always. And the other one is Samus Returns. Underneath that, for the 3DS game. Philip Mewson, you can turn off the podcast now. Because we're gonna give a real review of Samus Returns. That was one of the ones he stole, the IGN guy. Oh. Dude, that I can't stop. Every time I get a video that suggests someone talking about that, it's staggering. I hope he doesn't go super depressed, but I enjoy when thieves are scorned publicly.
Yep.
So, okay. All right, so I'm done talking about how wonderful Lee Trevino's Fighting Golf is. And maybe Gaming Bolt, I can suggest it to him. So let's get back to Gaming Bolt. Tell us about Condemned. What is Condemned? And then, what's the series about? The Game Bolt series.
Before I move on, I want to warn everyone, don't ever Google stroke play.
Okay. Well, if you put safe search on, or if you're just adventurous in general, Dumez is like that's a quick search. He probably has a macro for stroke play. Sorry, Dumez.
Condemned came over to the United States, or it was developed in the United States as Condemned Criminal Origins, and it was a first-person horror game that was really good. And you had a bunch of melee combat. You had some firearm combat. It had a sequel a few years later, Condemned 2 Bloodshot. That was not as good, but still pretty good. Let's see. Condemned, the first one came out on PC and Xbox 360. It was a 360 launch game.
Oh, okay.
And Condemned 2 came out on 360 and PS3, but no PC release.
Licensing.
Yeah.
The Stalinists got the video games. There's no Dumbass is just on my mind, so any reference I can get.
It was developed by Monolith, the same guys who did Fear.
Oh yeah.
So that's probably what happened to it. Fear got really popular, and that was that.
They got closed. Wouldn't they get bought by Microsoft and closed? Oh no. They were also, aren't they the Shadow of Mordor guys?
I don't remember.
Monolith games. I think maybe they published it. Let's go to Wikipedia. Fear, yeah, Middle Earth, Shadows of Mordor. Fear, also Gotham City Imposters, which I feel like was that on my end that has a really cool effect. Like it's a really pretty blue. Dustin's bringing out the strobe light again. I guess he wants to watch my rave dance again. Which I went back and watched. Very embarrassed that's on the internet. It's look great. It's a good thing we're not popular. Like that, never live that down.
That's all right. Zerical
Zerical meme for me. Yeah. Okay. So from a Gaming Bolt perspective, I guess what do they talk about? What's their goal with the series?
It just gives an idea of where the series started, how it progressed, and where it is now.
And if it's what the hell happened, are they like, hey, this was excellent? Why this fizzle out?
Usually, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I will send him a note about Lee Trevino's fighting golf. Lee Trevino's still with us. Get it again. So, Eric, I see that smile. Don't. We're not really suggesting. Please don't do that. So, well, cool. Yeah. So go to Gaming Bolt on YouTube, and we're specifically recommending What the Hell Happened to Condemned. All right, man. Well, after you were done with YouTube and waking up promptly at 5:30, what have you been playing?
So Solly finished his first full week of kindergarten last Friday.
Awesome.
And for that, I took him to an arcade.
Look at you. Awesome, Dad. That's a gold star treatment if I've ever heard of one.
But we went to this local arcade called Game Galaxy. And it's one of those where everything is on free play. You just buy like an hour's worth of time.
Oh, hell yeah.
And,
so there's like real arcade machines in there. It's not just all ticket-based stuff?
No, it's real stuff.
Oh, hell yeah.
It had so much, it had cool stuff that I wanted to come back and see, and it upgraded a great deal since then.
Okay.
Like it had Simpsons, X-Men, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles arcade game, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Turtles in Time. It had an OG Ghouls and Ghosts. It had Splatterhouse.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah. It had a Play Choice 10 that had Contra, Super Mario 3 in it.
Oh, cool. Did it have Excite Bike? Maybe.
I think so.
That's a pretty popular one. There's some differences between the way that you can get speed boost and Excite Bike. There's differences with all of them, the Play Choice 10s.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's so cool. Was it the red tent one? Or is it the stand-up? There's like a stand-up normal arcade machine. It's like gray and stuff. But there's also a sit-down cocktail-looking one that's like a red tent?
Yeah, it's a stand-up.
Okay, because the red tent one, you can play like tennis, and you're on one side and your opponent's on the other. So it's
Cool.
yeah. There's some really neat little wrinkles with the red tent.
I wonder if the Contra code works in Contra.
I would be stunned if they allowed that in a coin-based, because there are programmed differences. So why would they allow a 30 lives code? Wouldn't the 30 lives code be a roll of quarters?
Yeah.
Not for me, of course, but
Right.
actually it would because it's a joystick. I'd be like, this bullshit.
They had a Miss Pac-Man cocktail cabinet.
Oh, I love the cocktails. Wait, I was thinking cabaret. The cocktail's the flat one, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
They had a sit-down Radiant Silver gun.
Oh, wow.
They had an Outrun, like a lot of cool stuff in there. They had an Xbox One in an arcade cabinet playing
Awesome.
Call of Duty World War II.
Okay, I was hoping you were going to say Soul Calibur 2 or something like that.
Oh, that would be way cooler. They should have done that.
The Xbox One's really neat. Like, you can put so much custom... I mean, it's basically like a Windows 98 machine. I mean, it is. Like, it's...
Yeah.
So you can hack the heck out of it. Eric says the Contra code should be reversed and you only get one life. That would be a hilarious stroll.
Yes. That would be great. But yeah,
What was he drawn to? What did he like playing?
I think he was just completely overstimulated.
Okay, good.
Because he was like, he'd get to one and he'd play for a second and he'd be like, okay, I will go over here now. And he'd get to one and he'd play for a second because that's one of the cons of spending zero money on it. Like, he didn't have limited chances. Okay, here you go. You get 15 tries. Here's your first try.
Yeah, there's no economy to worry about.
It doesn't matter. He can just walk up, play anything he wants, and die as many times. So, but I think the one thing that he really got into was it was like one of the Marvel versus Capcom games.
Oh, well, that's a lot of Flash. That's a gorgeous. All three of them. Were there any light gun games or any gun-based ones like Area 51 that he could get into or anything like that?
Yeah, there was a joint Maximum. What was the Maximum? It was Area 51 and then like Maximum, not Overdrive. That's the Emilio Estevez movie.
Yeah. And it's not... I was going to say Maximum Carnage, but that's not...
Yeah, it's not that
also not it.
That other light gun game that starts with Maximum.
I don't know.
It was that in one cabinet. And then they had like the Police Trainer gun game. Point Blank was there. The Namco light gun game.
I've never played that. Sorry, YouTube, my video keeps flashing. Like, I don't know why. I got a loose cord. Yeah, I see it on all three things, so it's definitely my camera that's causing the issue. Thanks, OBS, for the update. It's not their fault. Well, cool, man. You think he'll be asking to go back, or do you think it'll be one of those things where you'll be like, "We're going"? He's like, "Oh yeah, I like that place."
I don't know. Since he has such a selection here at home, like he has so many choices here.
Yeah, but it's different. There's something about going to a place.
Yeah,
maybe not.
I don't know if it counts for him.
No, it might not. I guess that's just my rose-colored glasses looking back.
Yeah, I think because he's gonna be like, yeah, I have a billion choices at home that I can just play as often as I want.
Yeah. Well,
it's not like I rented one game this weekend and it was Bad Dudes. Now what am I gonna do? Well, I can go to Aladdin's Castle and play Ninja Gaiden. Or like,
that's an excellent point. So, you know what? He'll have some funky memories. Like, I went to this place and I swear it was a room of games, and people, his friends are gonna be like, "No, that doesn't. You're not. That was gone like before 2000." He's like, "No, I really went to one. It's not a dream."
All his friends will think he's making stuff up.
Yeah, you're gonna be like, it's all you're lying.
I try to picture things as he will see them in the future. And so we went to the arcade, and then he's been looking for snow cones everywhere, and you'd be surprised how difficult it is to find snow cones.
Really?
Yeah, like
you'd trip over snow cones back in the day.
Right? But we found a place that sold a snow cone, so we had an orange snow cone, and it was kind of meh. It wasn't great.
Yeah.
But it makes me wonder if in like 15, 16 years, he's going to be like, I remember, man, we went to the arcade. I played every machine for like an hour, and then I got the snow cone. It was the best snow cone I've ever had.
That's what I was getting at, where he's going to have this like memory of, like, you thought he was like indifferent about the day. And he's going to be like, it's so vividly awesome. Am I like lying to myself? Did that really happen, or did I dream that?
Could such a place really exist?
No, I could play all the games. You know,
I didn't even need quarters.
Yeah. That's what would make me think it was a dream. Because I wouldn't know the detail of the... Oh, that's fun, man. That's really cool.
Dude. In like 1992, that would have been a dream.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
You just go to an arcade and play anything you want for as long as you want.
With snow cones?
Yeah.
Sign me up, dude. I'm salivating thinking about it.
That would have been one of those dreams where you're pissed when you wake up.
Yeah, right? Yeah.
Like, son of a bitch. My normal life.
Okay, so you had a good arcade trip. What else you been up to, man?
And then after that, I played some Alan Wake. I mean, not directly after that. I actually just finished playing it. But that's a game that I played it one year around Halloween.
Okay.
And it's like stuck in my head for like Halloween game.
You've brought it up before around it.
Yeah. I want to play Alan Wake around Halloween time, like I want to play RPGs around Christmas.
Okay, I can relate. I always like to play NES Zelda around Thanksgiving, between Thanksgiving and Christmas.
But that game is great. It's made by Remedy, same guys who made Max Payne.
Okay.
The other game where the character's name is the title.
I need to play that.
Which one?
Thank God we have the internet as a buffer. But specifically, I was talking about Alan Wake. I have that and the expansion on PC, thanks to Humble Bundle.
Oh, I'm glad because again, digital games licensing stuff came up. You can't get the American Nightmare anymore.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's been pulled.
Oh, yeah, I've got them both. So
if you don't own that, I don't think you can buy it now. I might be wrong, but I'm pretty sure. Because when I read that somewhere, and I was like, oh no, did I buy that for the 360 when I got the 360 copy? And I did, luckily.
Okay.
High five past me.
Yeah, good job. Way to spend on licensing. Zarek says he will most likely remember the arcade. All my strongest childhood memories are with my parents, or the ones where we did something that was out of the ordinary. The normal days blend together. Yeah, so he'll walk by an arcade machine and just like get this like irrational urge to eat like orange flavored stuff. He'll be like, I didn't want orange slices. Anybody want some orange slices?
I hope so.
Just keep doing awesome stuff with them. Like, some of these are going to hit.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, you don't know for years.
Yeah, I don't know if he'll remember getting the Switch that day. I was trying to recreate a memory I had with my dad.
I totally appreciate that. I remember going to Hills and getting the NES action set like so freaking vividly. I remember so many details about that. But that's probably the only thing of that year I remember. So... Yeah. And I was his age for that, for me. It was like 88, 89.
Yeah, same here.
So I was like 5, 6. So it was kindergarten. It was kindergarten, definitely. I don't remember if it was summer of or if I was in kindergarten. But I was little, and I had that stupid bank that was awesome. It's crazy. I still have that thing too.
Cool.
Yeah, it's on display on a shelf back there. I've got two NESs. One that works, that's my old one, and one that, or the one that doesn't work is back there on display, and the one that does work, I replaced the pin connector. So, $15 at Funko Land. It's awesome. No, that wasn't. That was a gift my mom got me my freshman year of college as a gag gift. She saw one for $20.
Cool.
Yeah, I'm like, I can mod this. Yeah, that was funny. I opened it, and I legitimately was excited. She thought it would be silly, because she always likes to give gag gifts. I'm like, no, this is legitimately phenomenal. Thank you.
You nailed it.
Yeah. So, yeah, Alan Wake. So, you didn't talk about it that long ago. So, did you start a new game, or did you pick up from a save?
I picked up from the save because that Alan Wake. I like that game, but I've started it way more times than I've ever completed it.
Okay.
And I did not want to go through the beginning again because it takes a minute to get started. It's cool when you haven't played it before, but when you've played it before, the beginning is just a slog.
And that's what I was going to ask: is how is it with the mechanics? Have you played it enough where you know right where to pick up? Like you don't forget mechanics, or is there a little diving into some menus?
It was a very small learning curve getting back into it.
Okay, that's good.
It's basically a third person action game. Left trigger points your gun. Right trigger shoots your gun.
Cool.
Yeah, it was really easy to get back into.
I thought it was all flashlight. There is a gun.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, there's several guns.
Oh, cool. That's very cool. I thought it was all flashlight based stuff. Awesome. Well, did you play anything else while you were hanging out this last week?
Nope, I think that's it.
Or let me go back.
Oh,
go ahead.
Go ahead. I was going to say, I watched...
I was going to say, Jinx, show me a Coke.
Solly and I have been watching Breath of the Wild videos.
Oh, okay, cool.
And I was like, man, I can play some Breath of the Wild right now. Like, that game was great.
Someone tweeted, I think it was a No Swear Gamer, tweeted at the Retro League and asked them about like an old game remake. And this had to be Hugh. Maybe it was Rob, but I think this was definitely Hugh's response. He said, okay, like something like I'll play. How about Zelda 2 in the Breath of the Wild engine with the cartoons art style?
Yeah.
I'm like,
yeah.
wow. Yes. I will kickstart that. Like whatever needs to happen.
Oh yeah.
But I wanted to ask before we move on. Since I know you were trying to, give Sully a good day at the arcade, was there any that you wish you could have spent more time on? Any game there, or is it just like whatever?
I wanted to play more Ghouls and Ghosts and Splatterhouse.
Splatterhouse! I should have known. Or Ghouls and Ghosts. Well, cool. Then you have a reason to go back. And what's the all you can play rate? Like $15 or so? Like,
yeah, I think like 1 hour is $7 and all day is $10.
Oh wow, that's
yeah.
I mean, even if I'm only going to be there for a half hour, just in case. Here's a tip. Give me the $10 ticket. Well, cool. Well, I have made more progress in Dead Cells, which is funny to say about a roguelike game. I got another rune that I thought was going to be impossible. I could not do it. Finally, I got lucky, and I got a build that worked well, and now I can... So there's these little... Sometimes in the level, you'll see something flicker a little bit in sort of video game hieroglyphic kind of style. Mm-hmm. And it means that there's a secret, so you can like bust through a wall or whatnot. This is an upgrade of the ground pound, which now allows me to get to different areas of the levels. Which means I will eventually be able to get a spider rune, which will allow me to climb up walls, which is another area, another segment of areas that I've never been able to get to. So I'm really trying to collect as many of these runes as possible so that, I don't know, I can kind of sniff out all the mechanics before I progress. I got to the second of the main 3 bosses, which was really fun. I did okay, considering it was my first time against the boss. It has like my buddy described it so perfectly. He called it like the scorpion get over here motion, where the boss will like send a hook shot at you and like bring you back. It's really cool. So I'm still really enjoying Dead Cells a lot. And each week I've talked about it, I've felt very satisfied as far as the progression that I've made. It seems like it's a short game if you can beat it. Like maybe a 40-minute run or something. But I have a significant amount of hours in it. I don't know. I don't even know. It's really fun. Now, I'm scared I'm going to beat it before they patch it. Because there are times where you'll lose, like, it's not like slowdown. You just teleport somewhere. Because you've lost so many frames.
Yeah.
It's not affected me at all in a combat scenario, but it has dropping down to different parts of a level. So I'm nervous that it will bite me in the ass at some point, but so far it hasn't. Yeah. But Dead Cells, Kevin was asking about it on Twitter today. I tweeted about getting this rune, and he asked me if it was similar to Rogue Legacy, and it's certainly not a clone of Rogue Legacy. They handle the progression mechanics differently in each of the games, but there's enough similarities that if you really were a big fan of Rogue Legacy, I would be just absolutely shocked if you didn't like Dead Cells. It's really excellent. It's one of those games I'm glad that I paid full price. I think I paid $25 on Switch for it.
Cool.
And it's like, here's a round of beers for the dev team. Congratulations. It's excellent. It's really, really fun. And I think I'd mentioned that they must have listened to Lindsey Buckingham making the level music for the first level. Mm-hmm. They totally, like, again, later in a new area, I heard more Lindsey Buckingham isms. I'd be floored if the composer doesn't love Lindsey Buckingham, at least the style of guitar that he plays.
What if the composer is Lindsey Buckingham?
Dude. That'd be too much. I would feel like I've got the most amazing ear palette of all time. But Dead Cells is excellent. Please get it if you're considering it, and make sure, again, as a PSA, go to the options, turn up the music, and select Castlevania-esque weapons or bonuses, not weapons. Yeah, and then also, so this is again gonna make Demez happy. I've been playing some Super Nintendo because his comment last week about getting a good adapter for his Super Nintendo. Mm-hmm. I wanted to knock the rust off of me for Super Mario 2 and the All-Stars edition for the Super Nintendo. Because I was on Tuesday when eBay said that my item was going to arrive, I was going to stream Super Mario 2 from the All-Stars edition so that I could play my Super Nintendo on stream and see if it fixed the jailbar issue I was having. And I went online and I went through HD Retrovision's blog that verifies third-party AC adapters. Mm-hmm. And I'm going through it, and all of a sudden I'm spending like around $20 or so. And Dumez said he got one that he likes a lot for $20. And I had admitted that I had a cheapo, like, do not use kind. So I'm like, all right, I got to get this replaced. Well, I went on eBay, and now this is no fault of the seller. They shipped it out immediately. But for some reason, whenever I buy something out of Texas, it takes forever to get to Ohio. But I went and I found for $16 an OEM one, a real Super Nintendo, and I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna go and get an OEM one. But HD Retrovision has a blog. If you definitely want to go third party, you have to get some adapters and whatnot. But Steve is a electrical engineer, and does all the oscilloscope testing and verify the voltages and reliability of, as of 2017, of a third-party solution that he would recommend. And it came out to $25 after shipping and all the little parts and stuff. And I know Demez has around a $20 part, which may be cheaper in the U.S., because I'm sure he mentioned the Canadian currency. But when I saw that I could get a tested working OEM one, I thought, you know what, I'm going to go with that. And just get it stock. And if that craps out, then I will go and purchase the third-party routes. But to knock the rust off, I started playing Super Mario 2, and on the NES version, I'm pretty good at the slot machine extra life game.
Yeah.
Not so much in the Nintendo one. I don't know why I can't do it.
Huh.
You can see it easier, the cherries.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It just doesn't... I can't do it as well. So, all right. Well, I'm dropping frames for you for some reason, Dustin.
I don't know.
Don't know why. OBS says 0, but like you went max headroom there for a second.
Cool.
So, yes, it actually was a great effect. I would totally do if it didn't mean that we were pushing something somewhere, I would totally do a whole podcast that way. So let's get into our listener feedback, and then we will call it a show. So, what I wanted to mention, Damez says, big news, ISO Zone. This is an email. If you'd like to email us, you can send that to classicelite@gmail.com. He says, big news, ISO Zone is no longer hosting downloads. Damez says, I've been using ISO Zone for years. It's an awesome site for ROMs and, more importantly, ISOs. Clearly, they are scared by Nintendo. I went there, and it says they no longer have download links. Luckily, they do link other sites that do, at least for now. And then this is totally true, Dustin. He says, it is the end of an era.
Yeah.
It absolutely is. It felt like that would never end. It felt like they couldn't stomp out enough gophers, but they have.
It's all going to hit the dark web. We're going to have to download Tor.
I was going to say, I never imagined that I'd ever have to get Tor, but if my Wii dies and fries that SD card with all those ROMs on it, I'm going to have to do something.
You better back that up.
Oh, there's a 90s song I can't. It's a rap song. Like Mystical or something. So, yeah, dumbass, thanks for the heads up on that. And also thanks for the objectively worse. Definitely people go watch that objectively bad video. It's hilarious. Like how methodical he is with showing. He really put a lot of thought into it. And I don't know. That speaks to me. So, all right, man, let's get to some comments. Let's go. Julian says in chat, the only reason I went to ISOs was because of the PSP. Dreamcast got me into downloading ISOs. Trying out Power Stone and all that. The only legit thing I had on the Dreamcast, and again, I bought this years after it was out of production, was Virtua Tennis. Because that's the best tennis game that's ever been made. By a mile.
Cool. I found that at Goodwill one day.
That's a good one. It's an A+ game. Especially after you get past Carlos Moya. You gotta face King. You gotta know your shit in that game to get past King. Oh, so good. Good memories. So, all right, Dustin, you want to take some of Dumbass's comments from the last few episodes?
Let's hear. Dumbass says, negative 273 degrees Celsius are 0 kelvins. To be nerdy here, you should not ever say degrees of Kelvin, just kelvins. Let's say 200 kelvins, not 200 degrees Kelvin.
Yeah, I don't think we said degrees Kelvin, but if we did, thank you for correcting us on that. I remember my chemistry teacher, he'd be so disappointed if I said degrees Kelvin publicly, because I know better. But remember I kept saying 275 or something?
Yeah.
It was 275. It was Kelvin. So I had the number in my mind. It was 273 Kelvin. We should switch to Kelvin.
I think 200 degrees Kelvin sounds better.
What is a
I'm
0 point?
I'm no science person. 200 degrees Kelvin. 200 kelvins sounds like 200 people named Kelvin.
No, but it's like it's not like necessarily okay. Be a little bit more abstract with your thinking, and it's not like it's not a degree of something. It's like an inch. Like you don't say degrees of an inch. Like it's more of a totally different unit of measurement. You're just trained in degrees equals temperature, but think of it as not necessarily a degree, and it's a measurement of something in and of itself.
What if you have a master's in Kelvin? What do you call it then?
Are you setting me up for a joke I should know?
It's a degree.
That's a degree. Oh, yes, you did, and I'm an idiot. See, I went too abstract, and I couldn't even get the basic stuff back.
But yeah, now that you mentioned like saying inches, that makes sense.
Yeah, think of it truly as a measurement of not just temperature, but it kind of. Did you ever take physics or chemistry? And you have to deal with moles. It was a way to convert things in so that there's like a okay. I forget which one. I think it was chemistry that did the moles. Yeah, it was because you were calculating particles and all that. But it was a way to bring different elements into the same measurement, so it wasn't like degrees of mole. I don't know. For me, it totally makes sense to not call it a Kelvin, or to not call it degrees of Kelvin. I just totally blew my spot up there by saying, yeah, Dustin's right. Okay, moving on. Sorry.
Let's see. He goes on to say, Binding of Isaac has huge progression across playthroughs, but it comes from defeating bosses and achieving things, and unlocks items that you can then get in future runs. For example, Beast the first. Is that supposed to be 62 floors?
I'm gonna guess so.
First, however many floors without getting damage unlocks a new character. Every boss you beat with every character will unlock a new item for each that you can pick up in later runs. The most powerful items will be locked at the start of the game. If you try to play on PC, you will go broke on expansions. I definitely recommend the Switch version as it is fully complete with all the expansions and everything. That's cool.
Cool. Dead Cells has a similar thing to that. I guess Dustin and I stink. I never got far enough to unlock any permanent upgrades. So because I never unlocked anything, just felt like, oh, I guess I'm done. I can't get past even the first boss. Okay, what else? What else do you see on your end? It's weird that they're always different for us.
Somebody at YouTube is just like they snicker. They just sit there and snicker, knowing that they mess us up like this.
We randomized no matter like based on your IP. Like that's how it randomizes how you see YouTube comments in your creator studio.
Let's see. Dumbass goes on to say, very happy to hear the Ease 4 in English works good. As soon as my PC Engine comes back from the repair shop, I will pop it into my PC Engine Duo and give it a good go. My unit is fixed, and I just sent a payment for the repair, $20. Not too bad. That is awesome.
Bithead 1000 had his Turbo Duo die, and I'm like, oh, poor guy.
I watched the his most recent video, the Ease smoking weed video.
Not funny. Dude, he's good, isn't he?
Yeah, he's great. He reminds me of somebody.
He reminds me of my college roommate from Youngstown, actually. Yeah, he's
great.
He's great. I'm glad to give him a try.
The weed pen story by itself is great.
All of his, at least over the last year or so, he starts off with these amazing, hilarious stories like that. But yeah, go to Bithead 1000. That's 3 episodes in a row. It's obviously not fluff. Also, he says he thinks weaponized autism as a term. Dumbass says, I can't tell if that's either the most accurate or the most offensive thing I've ever heard. And I can't either, which is why I always feel terrible saying it. But it's because it is very offensive, but it is really accurate. When it comes to the internet, everyone coming together to waste a tremendous amount of time on one little detail that the grand scheme of thing doesn't matter for anything. Yeah. And then also, Demez, yeah, I'll let you know if I need that power supply as well. He even made a video about the shitty split AC adapters that I have, so the hair must have stood up on his neck when he heard me talking about it. But I do think that that's probably why I was getting some interference. Because my Gen 1 Sega Genesis, I'm using the original power supply with it. And my Super Nintendo, for whatever reason, I don't have one. So keep an eye out. I will be streaming some Super Nintendo.
Sweet.
Yeah, it's fun. You know, the older I get and the further away I get from that era, the more I think I might like the Genesis more than the Super Nintendo. Feels weird to say, but that's got to be a lot of bias showing, though, right? That's what I grew up on. Like, that's what I had. So I lusted after the Super Nintendo, but now that I have both, I don't know. None of them can... I just love the NES the most, like bar none. I've come to that conclusion. I love the NES. That might be my desert island. Like, if you get out of the collection, no cheating, like no emulators on your Xbox One or whatever, or Xbox Original. But if all you had was a library of one system and a system, I love the the regular NES so much. It's my favorite. Do you know what you'd pick? Would you be PC Engine?
Ooh. I don't know. I think I might vote Super Nintendo.
I think that's fair. I totally get it. I don't know. I can't even articulate why I like the Genesis more. I have no idea why. My whole life I lusted after the
blast processing.
The blast. Yeah. No, but I had the blast processing. It was the Mode 7 I wanted.
Yeah, but then you got the Mode 7. You realized you had the blast processing all along.
Yeah. See? You don't know what you have. So
you were like, they really do, a Nintendo.
Kind of how it felt. Like I fired up. One of the games I was going to stream was Adventure Island for Super Nintendo, and it starts off with the like main character or whatever, and like this Mode 7 like drop in. That game sucks. Regular Adventure Island on the NES is excellent. It's that amp sound. Dude, I do have a different guitar amp. I should go back to my Genesis through the guitar amp. Try that again, do a YouTube tutorial. I tell you, man, I don't know how I had it, but back in the day, the crack of the bat in Roger Clemens baseball through my guitar amp was something special. I'd turn on the distortion, like the little overdrive in the amp, and it had a ton of like hissing, but like the music sounded all heavy metal. It was really funny. So cool. Well, I think that's going to be it for the show. You got any other final thoughts, Dustin, before I do all the fun sign-off stuff?
Is next week our Cabin in the Woods?
Yes, it is.
Sweet.
Cabin in the Woods. We will be doing a spoiler cast of Cabin in the Woods next week. We won't be recording on a normal Wednesday. It will either be Tuesday, Thursday, or Friday. So keep an eye out for... like on our YouTube channel, hit the notification thing if you're a subscriber. If you're an audio person, you do not care that we're saying this at all.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cabin in the Woods. I'm excited. I'm ready for another horror movie. I know it won't be like The Void, but I'm ready to get into that stuff. Oh, and also, and maybe way down the road, I'm definitely gonna have to find like some other chiptune like Creative Commons thing for an intro for that, and I will break this out separately in the feed, both on YouTube as well as on the podcast feed. But I can't produce music, man. But I have I think that I have a nice little arrangement that combines Halloween and the 28 Days Later theme.
Cool.
Like, I'm really proud of the arrangement, but I've tried to sit down and do the recording, and I suck at it. Like, I cannot produce music. So if I can get some help, maybe someday I'll have it. But I was really proud of the mashup that I changed the key of Halloween and put it as a nice little, like, overlay to a slightly different arrangement for the 28 Days Later, and I was really happy. I changed the chord progression a little bit. I was really happy, and I'm like, I can't do this. Damn it. Like, if I could show somebody, it would be neat, but it's not. So, maybe someday I'll have my own personal theme song, but that's way down in the future. I thought it would be way easier to do a 2-guitar medley than it is.
I like the idea of you having your own personal theme song.
Me and yeah, okay, yes, yeah, okay. That's never gonna happen. I don't have the stomach to, like, talk in third person. So to even say, like, this is Scott's theme song and it's about me, like. So
I just wrote this. It's called Scott.
Maybe want to throw up in my mouth. Hey, Ben, what's up, dude? We were just talking about Bedhead 1000 for the third week in a row because he's excellent. You've got me obsessed, man. I've watched a tremendous amount of his videos. So we got to have Ben Martin joining. Thanks, man. Julian says the ending of that movie is Cabin in the Woods is weird, and Zarek has not watched it, so he's going to try to watch it. Zarek says, have you come up with some amazing catching branding for the show? No. Well, yes, I think it is amazing, and I think it is catchy what I did, but I don't have the it would be too amateurish. Like, unfortunately, you can't have what Ben Landis has done and what Cubby has done and all the other chiptune artists that I featured on the show, and then have me plunking away with just horrible quality. I'm not able to do that. Hey, Sir Cattingsworth, good to see you again. He was here waiting on the show to start and then vanished and catching up at the end. So a lot of people call me Scoot, so it's all right, Sir Cattingsworth. My nickname was Scooter Pie growing up. Did I ever tell you that?
I don't think so.
Yeah, it was someone called a guy that my dad golfed with whose name was Scott, Scooter Pie. And my dad thought it was funny because it's like a generic Little Debbie. And he was my Little League coach for a year, or a couple different years, but this one particular year. He called me Scooter Pie at home, and I didn't like it. Like, he tried it out, and I didn't like it. So at baseball practice, when I made an error, he's like, come on, Scooter Pie, you got to catch that. Like, half the team just dropped laughing, and it stuck. So it ended up being, like, my AOL screen name.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I just leaned into it. I'm like, all right, whatever, Scooter Pie. So I've got a lot of friends that still call me Scooter and Scoot.
There's no getting away from that.
No, you even at 13, I'm like, nope, got to lean into this now. I'm like, you're not unringing that bell. Ben, I have gotten into a lot of stories where he's talked about things back in the day. Like, he talked about this is Bethead 1000, like trading his Swiss Army knife his dad got him from a sentimental thing for Chinese stars, or like I've tried to tell you, like, buying fireworks and the whole rigmarole behind that. He's got some excellent stories. He's a wonderful storyteller. It's amazing that he's able to do it in just a camera. Like, I realize I'm doing that to an extent now, but it's still, there's you there. Like, if I would tell you, at least give me feedback. I know if my jokes hit or don't.
Right, yeah.
He doesn't know. But they're great. So, yeah, Bethead 1000, it's awesome.
Just the way he thinks is funny. Like, he was talking about going to a gaming convention, and he was like, I consider myself a nerd. I like video games and RoboCop. What more do you need to know? Just the way he said it is hilarious. Yeah. It's excellent. And, yeah, and his delivery.
He's just so, yeah. Thank you, Ben. That's a great one. So, all right. Well, I guess let's wrap up the show. It's a little shorter this week, but I'm sure people won't mind. If you'd like to get our archive, all of the audio versions of our show are available at our website, classicleet.com. That's classic L337. If you have feedback or business inquiries or listener mail, you have a funny story to tell us, or anything you want to let us know about, you can send an email to classicleet@gmail.com. The audio versions of our podcasts are available pretty much any podcast app that you use. So, Apple Podcasts, Google Play, Stitcher, SoundCloud, Podcast Addict. Let me see where we're at now. Let's do a little bit of a check, right? Because Podcast Addict publishes their subscriber counts. They're the only people that have, watch them all be fake, and I'm getting, hosed over here. We're at 1,029 subscribers on Podcast Addict, which is awesome. So, thank you, anybody over there. I think that is going to be it for the show. Oh, I already said that. I got distracted looking at my phone. Social media, the Classic Leet is our username, Classic L337, at Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and SoundCloud. I want to thank Ben Landis for letting us use his song Through the Forest as our intro music. It's off his album Adventure in Pixels, and also shout out to Cubby, because we use his song Tidal Force as a snippet for the outro. If you'd like to support the show, please leave us a review if you've enjoyed it. If not, you can keep the reviews to yourself. If you financially like to support us, we do have some availability with Amazon affiliate links in the descriptions of wherever you find us. Oh, yes, Zarek, ethical business inquiries. We've had a couple that are just, baffling. I'm I don't have time to do a product review. And they're like, oh, well, will you buy this product off Amazon and leave an Amazon review and we'll refund you the money? No, that sounds more complicated. Do you want me to? It would honestly be one of those things where it's all right, you refund me before I write the review, and then I go 1 star. I was paid for this review.
That'd be great.
But no, that's horrible. Especially if I'd like the product anyways. But yeah, okay, that's going to be it for the show next week. Make sure to watch Cabin in the Woods so you can join our spoiler cast next week. And that's it. So everybody, thank you very much for listening to episode 282 of the Classic Elite Podcast. And we will see you next week for episode 283.
Moosh.
All right. That's going to be it for the show. Yeah, I ended up getting a bunch of texts while. Okay. What are you going to do? All right. So, yeah, thanks everybody for joining. Sir Cattingsworth, you missed the meat of the show, but I still like that you were here. Ben, good to see you, man. Brian, hope that we entertained you while you were editing today. Vepper, always a pleasure. AJ, and, of course, Zarek, thanks for stopping out, everybody. We'll see you next week, and have a good night.
Peace. Peace. Peace, peace, peace.
Peace.